countries, different peoples, there's a cultural unity and among black people, period. Whether you're on the continent, if you're on the continent of Congo, Nigeria, or in New Orleans, there's a continuum, as John Henry Clark suggests.
Right.
Yeah, you see it through the carnivals, international
Oh, yes.
carnivals, yeah, big time.
Oh, yes. And I was with some students, I can't remember. And we were talking, they were asking, well, how did they have the same thing over here with it, with St. Pete? You know what I'm saying? That's what it boils down to. They were just taking different places. And sometimes under different languages, rulers of different languages, but somehow underneath you can see that culture coming through. Something cannot be hid. Okay, so let's go on. So these are some of the influences. Jazz music, I mentioned that. Second line parading, second line dancing. I talked about Benjamin Latrobe going into those circles. He said in one of those circles he saw women dancing around the inside, waving handkerchiefs. I don't know if he said handkerchiefs, he said kerchiefs or something like that. But we know what they were, all right? Totally what we do now, second line dance. Music of Mardi Gras Indians, not the suits, not the costumes, but say suits, but the music, the rhythmic patterns, the musical instruments of them, the content of the minstrel shows. I just want to take a second to tell you how important this is and how it's not talked about. But we know that minstrels stood among those observers, those onlookers, and E.P. Christie talks about how everything he saw at Congo Square he turned to gold.
Yep.
He performed in the circuses as a clown, as some of them did, right? Because they were entertainers. And so they're like, this is gold, this is entertainment, I'm gonna take this to the stage. So E.P. Christie performed on Broadway for 10 years, 10 years stint on Broadway. Now, what did he do? He opened up the circles, among other things. Meaning, remember those circles? You know, you're one when you're in there. Those people standing around, I said they were not just in there looking like this, right? They were participating, they were clapping and singing. So he then opened up the circles, created the semicircle on the stage, but kept something important. Remember when you see the second lines going down the street and all of a sudden they stop and they make the circle and then somebody goes inside and dances, and the other one comes out and the other one goes in. So Chrissy then said, okay, you have the semicircle and we're gonna have one at a time. You go up front and you perform and you come back in. You see how he's keeping this structure? So he's known for developing the structure of the minstrel show. He then takes even names of dances like Juba to the stage, to the minstrel show. He takes the banjo, remember? He takes not the drum that looks like this is what he uses, tambour. You know, he doesn't have the tambourine, but he uses this as his rhythmic pattern. He uses the bones, right? You see bones. Enslaved people were playing not just the jawbone, but also other bones too. All right, so you can see the parallel, and you can see him collaborating with, oh God, I said I was gonna remember his name.
Brother Ford might help her out. Who's the other guy we talked
Stephen
about?
Foster. I was thinking about Stephen Foster.
And also T.D.
Right, yeah, exactly, yes. So he collaborates with Stephen Foster. Even he publishes some of Stephen Foster's songs under his name, and they have to go to court later on to get it straightened out. But some of those songs that we see as the like the first songs, American folk songs, they really came out of minstrel shows, right? They were composed for minstrel shows. So we see this, but he was not the only one who took the content from Congo Square. We know that people like George Washington Cable and Mark Twain even went on travels where they sang these songs to audiences, again performing these around the country. So we would never know the full